Welcome to the NFL Pick'em Podcast with your host, Anthony Kruszka. Each episode, I will go through some of the highlights from the previous week's games and give an update on which homeroom has the highest number of correct picks. Now, let's kick this show off. Welcome. This is the NFL Pick'em Podcast, Week 5, with your host, Anthony Kruszka. As always, I'm going to go through the games here real quick, see who won, who lost. So here we go. On Thursday Night Football, we had the Colts taking on the Broncos, and the Colts won that one. And then for Sunday's games, we had the Giants beating Green Bay, the Bills beating the Steelers, the Chargers beating the Browns, the Vikings beating the Bears, Patriots beating the Lions, the Saints beating Seattle, the Jets beating the Dolphins, Tampa Bay beat Atlanta, the Titans beating the Commanders, Houston beating Jacksonville, 49ers taking down the Panthers, Cowboys beating the Rams, Eagles beating Arizona, and the Ravens beating Cincinnati. And then on Monday night, we had the Raiders playing Kansas City, and Kansas City won that one. All right, so hopefully your picks were pretty good for the week. Now I'm going to go through all the games with Andrew Healy and Zane Dively.
Yo.
We're going to start it off with Thursday night, the Colts at Denver. 12-9 was the final score in overtime, and the Colts ended up taking the W.
Primetime games have just sucked this year.
Yeah,
I mean, the Steelers were on one of them, and even that game was terrible, and I had to watch the whole thing. No touchdowns. Saw some guy, I think it was like a plus 10,000 bet. I think he cashed it on no touchdowns. Unreal. But anyways, yeah, I mean, the only thing Russ is cooking right now is like a bowl of cereal. I mean, he's just been awful.
A bowl of cereal and some microwave ramen now.
Yeah, he's not been looking like the answer in Denver. It's still taking a while to click. He's pretty much exclusively only passing to Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
So
Jerry Jeudy is not a big enough part of that offense, and Jerry Jeudy is very good, so I don't really know. And then Javonte Williams is out, so they got Boone and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is the fumble god.
Yeah, he's just old, too.
Yeah. He's like, 29 now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep putting the Broncos on primetime. They're a very boring team to watch. They're just disappointing. The Colts didn't play very well either. It was just a defensive game. That's what every Broncos matchup has been. So once Denver plays a really good offensive team, they're going to get absolutely blasted.
Yeah. So hopefully they can Thursday night's not looking too good. What do we got next week? It's Bears and Commanders.
That's going to be a 14-7 game. Can't wait.
These games are really just laughable. I don't know.
With the Lions on prime.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I don't know. Can't probably better than what we've got.
Offense in that game.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
No defense. We'll get to that though.
All right. Yep. So then we're gonna move on to Sunday's games. I started off with the Giants versus Green Bay. Giants took the W, 27-22. They got their 4th win of the season already, which is very surprising.
Dude, the Giants are looking real.
They look like a good team.
Like, yeah, it's not like a joke anymore. Like, you watch them play and they're like meshing. And in my opinion, right now, Saquon's the best running back in the NFL. The way he's playing right now, and I love seeing him do well because coming out of college, he was that number 1 talent. He drew the comparisons, and it's great to see him finally doing good again, overcoming the injury bug. Green Bay is looking honestly not that good. I mean, they have no receivers. Aaron Rodgers is getting old. The running back duo's aging. It's just not looking good in Green Bay currently.
Yeah, I'm very happy I benched Aaron Jones for this game. Green Bay looked good in the first half. They definitely could have won this game. They just did not close it out. Their defense did not play very well. They let Daniel Jones walk on them and Saquon as well. Their run defense is usually pretty decent, but it just did not show. They just let Saquon, and then that when Saquon went out, that backup running back still did pretty well too.
Yep. Giants defense was actually clutch. They made that stop in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
They were right in the end zone there pretty much. Green Bay was, and they got the stop, so that was really nice to see.
Kayvon Thibodeau is looking very good.
Yep. All right, so now we're going to move on to another sad game. The Lions versus the Patriots. Lions put up no points, 0-29. Patriots won.
To the mic for this one.
Let's just let Andrew go
I'm
at
gonna
it.
try not to scream. We let a third-string quarterback walk all over us like we're playing high school. We got a high school defense out there. This was just a brutal game. I didn't get to watch much of it because I was working, but either way, I'm happy I didn't watch it because it hurt. I don't know how we didn't put up a single point against the Patriots defense. We had the number one scoring offense, and we couldn't put up a single point. That's just brutal. We let a rookie corner, I forgot, it was Zach Jones or whatever, something like that. Anyway, that number 13 guy got a pick off of Jared Goff. Come on now. And then, Jamal Williams should have had a much better game. Our offense was not clicking whatsoever. Amon-Ra didn't play very well. I don't even know if he played at all. I'm guessing he did. He probably had a limited game. Either way.
Heading into it, I was very confident in the Lions. I mean, the Patriots have looked terrible this year. Even though the Lions' defense has been the worst in the league, I mean, I was not expecting a game like this. I mean, just brutal showing from the Lions. As a Detroit sports fan, it just hurts, man. I mean, high expectations coming in this year. They played everybody really close. This is one of the few blowout games they've had this year. Nothing was clicking, and that defensive-minded coach Belichick he had the number the whole game. Just brutal showing from the Lions.
I don't have anything else to add.
Right. Yeah, this was supposed to be the Lions' week to bounce back. It should have been a for sure W in my eyes. But Jared Goff against Bill Belichick, that's kind of the story there too.
Yeah.
He's had some poor performances against Bill
Super Bowl
Belichick.
lost to him. Yeah.
I don't know. So.
Yeah, I thought the Lions they kind of looked like a wild card team going into it, but now it's brutal. It's back to the old Lions.
Right.
At least we got to win. At least we're going to go 1-16 instead of 0-17.
Yep. Alrighty, so now we're going to go into the Steelers versus the Bills. 3-38 was the final score. Bills taking the W. Here we go. Zane.
Oh, man, dude. Where do I even start for this game? I want to say the first play of the game was that 98-yard touchdown. Corners blew the coverage. The defense is helpless without TJ Watt. I mean, you can run on him. You can pass on him. I mean, we are a bottom 3 team in football right now. And it's weird to say that as a Steelers fan. Definitely going to have our first losing season with Tomlin at the helm. I don't think he's the one to blame. It boils down to one guy, and that's the offensive coordinator. Matt Canada, what are you doing? You have your brand new rookie quarterback. You don't have Ben throwing 30-yard lobs anymore. You don't have Mitch not looking at a whole side of the offense. You have a young rookie quarterback who can change the energy, and you have him pass slants and screens all game. He passed for 300 yards, not one touchdown to his name, because he refuses to let him extend the ball downfield. I mean, this team is just a joke. Are you kidding me? It's a shame. A winning franchise turned to absolute pitiful play. I am nothing short of peeved right now. I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's sad to watch. How are you this bad at football? You are supposed to be that gold standard. You're supposed to be the team that's always in contention. And the Bills are a great football team, don't get me wrong, but 38-3, are you kidding me? We beat this team last year. We beat this team. I mean, it's terrible. It's like us and the Commanders. You can't even watch them anymore. Watching the Steelers is like watching a 1965 football game. It's like he's lobbing it to Tungsten Armodoul in the end zone. It's terrible. I mean, I physically cannot find an excuse for it. The defense is terrible. Matt Canada has to go. How he is employed, I have no clue. I mean, I get it. It's the Steeler way. Oh, you don't fire a coach. You don't fire a coach. Yeah, well, that coach is the whole reason our offense looks like we're passing a ghost. I mean, it's brutal. You have a great receiving core, and yeah, it's just not a good look. It's just not a good look at all.
Yeah, this is going to be a good warm-up game for the Bills. Josh Allen getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, this will be a good momentum shifter for the Bills. Steelers looked brutal. Yeah, they're going to need some big changes to get back to their old form.
Yeah. And how about Gabe Davis for fantasy. Anybody have Gabe Davis?
Yeah, I have Gabe Davis.
There you go.
But my smart mind decided to bench him, of course.
Okay. Well,
so that's why I lost.
That's
okay.
kind of
it's
a lot
fine.
of people didn't
But
start him.
Travis
So.
Kelce dropped 4 touchdowns on me.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Well, hopefully the Bills are ready to go. I think they play the Chiefs next week, so that should be a good matchup for them.
Yes.
I'm ready to see that.
I'm excited for that one.
Mm-hmm. And now we got Dolphins versus Jets, 17-40 final score. Jets taking the W. I mean, that's another surprising one. Jets are winning games.
The Jets are a good team this year. They are a good team. I'll die on that hill. I mean, they have a couple of pretty good running backs. Carter and the rookie Breece Hall look very good. The receiving core is coming together. The defense is looking really good. Sauce Gardner, I believe, got his first interception this weekend. I mean, it's a young, scrappy team. Love Zach Wilson. Dolphins are hurting though. I mean, you don't have Tua. Then Teddy Bridgewater gets concussed.
Yeah,
and they need. I mean, it's proven that Tua is a good quarterback, though. He had his doubters heading into the season, and you see what this team is without him. They're a team that's getting blown out 17-40 by the Jets. I mean, you're starting to see it in football. There's this momentum change. All these heavyweights are starting to crash. The Steelers, the Patriots, the Rams don't look good. I mean, it's crazy. The Jets are an up-and-coming team. They are, in my opinion, they're in the same boat as the Jaguars. They're a team I could see finishing with a wild card spot, and I think they could be a sneaky run for the playoffs. It's looking to be very interesting in New York this year.
Yeah,
indeed. Without Tua, you could tell the Jets just had so many opportunities on offense. The Dolphins' defense could not stop it. Zach Wilson's actually looking pretty solid. He's not a great passing quarterback, but he can still make some things happen.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Dolphins. They got Skyler Thompson in at QB now, and he's coming out of Kansas State. I didn't really know a whole lot about him. I don't know if you guys do.
No, nothing
I
about
never
him.
heard
I thought he was related to Clay Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they picked him up. It was like late.
I'm sure they
round 7 or something like that. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with the Dolphins.
Back to the practice squad after
they were
Tua
looking,
comes back.
yeah, they were looking good. Now, not so much. But it's good to see Jets. These New York teams, Jets and the Giants, they're on the come up. So it's good to see.
Very good young teams.
Another team who is looking good that hasn't been as good in the past, Cowboys versus the Rams. That was the next game. The Cowboys won 22-10.
Micah Parsons is leading the league in sacks. Think about that.
I was just about to say that. I got 2 words for you. Micah Parsons. Wow. I mean, this kid he's the real deal. This is, in my opinion, as we speak right now, he's the best defensive player in football. TJ Watt's out. That would be the only guy I could see contending. Aaron Donald's looked good, but not great. I think Micah Parsons is the truth. I mean, he is unreal. He can block the run. He can play decent coverage from the linebacker position. You can put him on the edge, and he'll terrorize the quarterback. It doesn't matter. He can do it all. He's an anomaly. And I think him and the rest of that Cowboys defense, I think they could sneak in. And if the Eagles hit a rough patch, they might win the NFC East. I really do mean that. Cooper Rush has been serviceable. I mean, the Cowboys aren't a bad team. That defense is probably top 5 in the league right now with Micah Parsons. And the Rams are on one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers I've seen in a minute. I mean, this is just – you have no options if you're Matt Stafford. You need to re-sign Odell Beckham Jr. right now. I mean, you have Cooper Kupp and Higbee, and that's where it stops. Allen Robinson's his name's just scribbled out in the playbook, I guess.
True.
It doesn't matter. The Rams need to figure something out quick, or they might miss the playoffs at this rate.
I agree. Yeah, the Cowboys' blitz schemes are just so hard to read. The Cowboys, I didn't think Mike McCarthy would be a winning coach this year, but he is. And the Rams are just looking absolutely rough. Matt Stafford's playing too risky like he has been. He's leading the league in interceptions once again. He's just, he needs to get back to his old cautious form, but still throwing dimes. This Rams defense didn't look too great against Cooper Rush. I thought they would completely shut him down. They didn't really get too much pressure to the quarterback, and yeah.
Jalen Ramsey hasn't been great either.
Yeah,
this year. You heard his name. He's gotten burnt a couple times.
Yes.
And that's just something that can't be happening. The Rams were looking like this super team, and they are really failing to meet the expectations. Bobby Wagner is hitting fans harder than he's hitting opposing players.
True.
I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal in LA.
And then another corner I want to talk about is Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is not the worst corner in coverage anymore. He's not just an interception stat pattern. He's actually coming out to be pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going on to the next game. We got the Bengals versus the Ravens. Ravens took the W 17-19. I don't know. Bengals lose another tough one.
Yeah, this game was just a mess. Lamar Jackson underperformed. He could have scored a lot more points on this defense. The Bengals had multiple opportunities to close out the game, and they just didn't. You could tell they were hurting without T. Higgins. T. Higgins is doing better than Jamar Chase right now as it stands, because the defense has just put so much pressure on Jamar Chase. They double, triple cover him, and then they got wide open lanes for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd all the time. Hayden Hurst had a pretty good game. This Ravens offense should have played a lot better. This Bengals offense should have played a lot better. Their run game was not there.
It looked like it was going to be a shootout. You look at the schedule, you see Bengals, Ravens, you expect the game, finish 42-35, something like that. No, fairly low-scoring game. As said before, great game from Hayden Hurst. I mean, he is, without T. Higgins, he really is that number 2 option for the Bengals on the pass. Burrow's been looking rough. He's been missing his targets a lot. He only likes passing to Jamar Chase right now. I mean, it's the Bengals are that other Super Bowl team, another big hangover. Right now, the Ravens, they're the team to beat in the AFC North. I would argue, I think that the season's going to end Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and then my Steelers are going to be last. I'm say we got a mean 4-13 record ahead of us. But nonetheless, the Ravens, they're a good team. They're back to contending again. I'm not happy about it, obviously, but it's good to see it. Lamar Jackson looks like he's the MVP candidate right now. He's the guy you got to beat. You got to block him on all facets of the game, and it's just not happening from a lot of teams. But, good AFC North duel. Very good game. Justin Tucker's the truth, man.
Yeah,
true.
Best kicker in football.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah.
If the Ravens did not have Justin Tucker, this game would have went a lot differently.
All right, then we got Monday night, Raiders versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs win 30-29. A lot of calls going to the Raiders' way, or to their side, and somehow the Chiefs still pull it out. The Raiders could not, they couldn't capitalize at the end of the game there.
Passer calls, it's just crazy. I can't believe they didn't call that. Or they did call that as a rough against a passer.
But yeah, you got to put a mattress out before you tackle them. You got to put a nice mattress out so you don't hurt them in any way.
They just keep putting penalties. They keep changing the rules so the offense can just do whatever they want. They can get away with so much more than they used to. The Raiders kept this a lot closer than I thought it would be. Travis Kelce put down 4 touchdowns. He had a solid 25 receiving yards. He had 6 receptions for 30 yards, but 4 touchdowns, which is kind of wild. I mean, I'm really happy about it, because I had to play him in fantasy, him and Patrick Mahomes, so they torched me for 60 points. But it is what it is. Raiders, they're not really looking like the heavyweights that were coming into the league. The Raiders' defense is pretty brutal. It's not very good.
The Raiders are not a bad team by any means. I think they're still in the top half of the league. But that AFC is ridiculously good this year. You have 10, 11 teams that could contend for a wild card spot currently. And, this game went a lot closer than I thought it would for sure. Heading into it, I thought it was going to end like that Bucs-Chiefs game. But no, Patrick Mahomes, though, I will say, even though I think Lamar Jackson's the MVP currently, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. And he proves it week after week. He can make plays out of nothing. He is truly a generational talent. And I cannot wait to watch him and the Chiefs continue to play for years to come. I think right now the Chiefs are the heavyweights in the AFC West. Chargers they don't look bad, but the Chiefs just look They look really good.
They look elite. They look like the Chiefs.
They're not missing Tyreek Hill right now.
No.
Yeah. Travis Kelce's picked up the slack. You got Juju and
Cole Hardman.
Hardman's looked very good. Edwards-Hilaire's had a great year so far. He's been looking really good.
He is the touchdown demon. He is the perfect fantasy running back. He puts up 25 rushing yards for 10 carries and 2 touchdowns, and they're all receiving.
All right. And then what about after the game, Devontae Adams shoving the cameraman? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like this should not be Devontae Adams' fault. There's security guards that are supposed to not let them walk in front of the players, and the guy, I mean, he got his bag. I mean, he's suing Devontae Adams for a stupid amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the same thing. He's probably getting millions of dollars, for getting shoved on prime time.
Devontae's going to be suspended for like 5 games.
I hope not.
I don't think
they're going to make it. Dude,
they're not going to make it
Roger
5
Goodell's
games.
NFL, bro.
It'll be 3 games at worst. 3 games at worst.
Sucks.
And
we'll see.
And a hearty fine.
He's on my fantasy team, so hopefully not, because he was big for me. But so we'll see what happens with that. There's all your games for the week. Thanks to Sam Dively for hopping on and Andrew Healy for hopping on. Always love their input. Now we're going to hear from Jimmy Fackelman, the Homeroom Report. We all love to see it. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kruszka. Coming in here with week 5. Got to start off with the tops for the week. Mrs. Regalado coming in, making some noise, making a splash, 13 correct picks. Beatty, also big time, 13 picks this week. Followed closely by Clucky and Potter's Homerooms, both putting up 12. Solid weeks from you guys. Unfortunately, every mountain has a peak. It also has a bottom. The bottom for the week, Miss Tyndall putting up 7. Homeroom's got to step it up a little bit. It's all right, though. A lot of time left to get back in the race. Tops for the year so far. McMahon running away with the lead a little bit with 50, followed closely by Earl and Dennis's homeroom with 47 apiece. Now for the moment everybody's been waiting for. Where is Weber at?
Where is he?
11 correct picks this week, stepping it up from last week, trying to get himself back into the running, but with only 34 total correct picks, it's just not going to be enough. He's still sitting close to the bottom of the pack. We're all rooting for him, but he's got to step his game up. We're going to get a spreadsheet out to everybody so we know where the total list is for all the homerooms that are competing. But the main thing here is to stay consistent. I mean, you have to put in your picks every week if you want a chance at the leaderboard.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. All right. I think that's it for the week. Like you said, you got to stay in it. You got to stay in it to win it. Got to keep going. If you are participating every week, you're most likely going to be close to the top. So we'll see what happens. That top 3, McMahon, Earl, and Dennis, they've been right there. So maybe somebody will pull away soon, or they'll just keep fighting it out until the last week. But it's going to be a close one. That's what we know. It's going to be close. So, all right. Thanks for listening. This was week 5 of the NFL Pick'em Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Kruszka. And as always, have a good week. Have a good week.